If we've learned anything tonight, it's that New Yorkers are as mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore.
That was Carl Paladino's victory speech the night he was nominated by New York Republicans to run in what is the strangest governor's race in the country right now. Despite winning, Mr. Paladino was angry about something, and he wants you to share in it, delight in it, swim in that anger until you're all nice and pruny. You think he wants you to get off his lawn? Not crazy Carl. He wants his anger on your lawn. This is a lawn sign. I'm mad too, Carl. Very, very mad. Before Mr. Paladino was nominated by New York Republicans, the thing that had a lot of people angry at Carl Paladino was his super racist email forwarding habit. It wasn't just the one where the president and first lady were photoshopped as pimp and prostitute. It was also the one with the chimps doing the river dance, labeled "Proof the Irish Discovered Africa." That wasn't the last trash that Mr. Paladino would circulate. After he was nominated, his campaign sent out a mailer, which, again, we have in our possession, that literally smells like trash, sent to 200,000 New Yorkers. He's going to clean things up, see? Perhaps starting with your mailbox, when a week after he sent that to you, you still had the scent of garbage stinking up your Sports Illustrated. Today we learned from the New York Times that campaign manager, Mr. Paladino's campaign manager, Michael Caputo, failed to pay nearly $53,000 in federal taxes. His campaign chairwoman, Nancy Naples, left a local government job after claims that she diverted $1 billion to an investment manager. John Haggerty, another advisor, has been indicted on charges that he stole more than $1 million from New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg's re-election campaign last year. And an aide, Russ Thompson, who often serves as Mr. Paladino's driver, has served jail time for a hit and run he committed while driving drunk. You now see why, with each new thing we learn about Carl Paladino, my theory, my crazy thesis about him is becoming more and more convincing. I have believed for a while now that Carl Paladino is sort of pulling a Joaquin Phoenix here. This is an awkward, horrible, wonderful performance art as political campaign stunt to dramatize to all of us who are unafraid to pay attention that there is no such thing as too crazy in conservative politics this year. Not anymore. Joining us now is the New York Times reporter who brought us this story today, Michael Barbaro. Mr. Barbaro, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to meet you.
The reporting on this in itself seemed to be interesting. The candidate who you called about the hit and run, Mr. Paladino's driver, was quite hostile to you when you contacted him.
Well, he wasn't happy to be asked about a drunk driving incident. I bet I wouldn't be either. We had a brief, unpleasant conversation, and he cursed several times. It might have seemed like the story that he was threatening me. It didn't feel that way during the conversation, but he wasn't happy about it. You know, this is a guy who, like many people in the Paladino campaign, do not have a conventional resume at all. And that's what has made the Paladino candidacy seem so authentic and has allowed it to really connect with people in a visceral way. But there's a lot of baggage there that when a light is applied to it, does not look like other campaigns, and it's going to raise a lot of questions and going to give a lot of ammunition, I think, to his opponent, Andrew Cuomo.
I think the particular concern with these new allegations about, or these new revelations really about the aides is that so much of Mr. Paladino's direct appeal is that he's going to clean up Albany. To have aides who have both not just tax problems but allegations about stealing funds that they came across in the pursuit of political aims seems to directly contradict his message. What's the substance of the allegations about the aide who's charged with stealing funds essentially from Michael Bloomberg?
Well, this was a Republican aide to Mayor Bloomberg in his last re-election campaign, and money was put into a fund. It was supposed to be used to police polling places to make sure things went well on Election Day, and $1 million went missing, some of which was traced to the purchase of a home of this aide. You know, he bought his father's house out. But, you know, it's interesting. You raise this question of hypocrisy, but there's sort of a subtle genius to a lot of these Tea Party candidacies because the whole architecture and framework of them is outsiderism. It's we are not the establishment, we're not polished. So they can sustain a lot of chinks in the armor that I think a traditional campaign perhaps could not.
There is the issue about whether or not Mr. Paladino is temperamentally fit for office. And I joke about him seeming so angry he might Hulk out dangerously at any moment, but I think that he's sort of cultivating that impression almost. Yeah, I'm unpredictable. I'm going to have a baseball bat with me at any moment. the emails that he forwarded were not just these sort of racist things, also some very, very hardcore pornography, which I think a lot of people see as almost assaultive when you actually when you see the images of what it is that he forwarded. Is it possible that that is also cultivated? From your reporting on the campaign, does it seem like that's part of the campaign message, or is that just who he is?
I think it's pretty authentic. I think Carl Paladino is a regular guy who can't suppress his anger. And tonight, there was an incident with a reporter where there was a screaming match between he and a colleague of mine at the New York Post. That's authentically Carl Paladino from what I've seen. I mean, being on the phone with him is very surreal as a political reporter. Being with him is unlike being with any other candidate because he's just not polished. It's just this guy, a businessman from Buffalo. I don't think that that part is cultivated. And the reason I don't think it's cultivated is because it's proving to be pretty dangerous, too. And it may be the thing that undoes his campaign. I mean, to be in a screaming match with a reporter while cameras are going off and cell phone video cameras are taping, that's not what anybody, I think, wants their candidate to be doing.
Let alone their governor. Michael Barbaro, reporter for the New York Times on this story. Thanks for helping us explain this. Really appreciate it. Nice to meet you.